What's up guys, Sophie's here to give you a full rundown on how to paint different materials using Angelus products. Now Jordan 5s are perfect because there's a lot of different materials on this shoe. The first thing we're going to go over is how to paint plastic. Our two main ingredients here are our Angelus 2 Hard and our Angelus paint. We're going to pour a 50-50 ratio of each in a container and mix. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and apply multiple coats of our color to the plastic portions of the shoe. After giving them some drying time, the last thing we need to do is seal the paint in with the finisher. Next up, let's go over how to paint midsoles. The first thing we're going to do is tape off the uppers and the sole. This will prevent paint from getting on them during the prepping process. To prep the midsole, we're going to use some Angelus leather prepare and deglazer and wipe our area down with a cotton round. After we get a smooth surface to work on, we can go ahead and start applying multiple coats of our color. The last step is to seal the paint in with the finisher. Now let's move on to painting soles. As tempting as it is to paint the rubber portion of a sole, it's never recommended. However, we can paint the sole when it's translucent or icy. To do this, we can use some Sole Bright as well as Angelus dye. We're going to pour a 50-50 ratio of each in a container and mix. Apply your mixture to the translucent areas of the sole and begin to spread. This is definitely a good method if you want to change up some old yellowed bottoms. Let's go over how to paint canvas and mesh. They're two different materials but can be painted using the same methods. For example, let's start with the canvas shoe. We can mix 2Soft and our paint color to get the job done. The 2Soft will keep the material soft and flexible while the paint will saturate the shoe. Apply a couple coats of your mixture and dry with a heat gun. Remember that you can repeat these steps to paint your mesh shoes as well. Shoes definitely aren't the only thing you can use Angelus paints on. We can even apply our colors on objects like couches. To do this, I recommend painting a leather strip before painting your leather couch or chair. We're going to act as this strip is the actual couch that we're painting on. The steps you would need to take are as follows. Acetone your surface, apply multiple coats of your paint, and seal the paint in with the finisher. Test different colors out to see what you like. Another cool thing we can paint is purses, and the process is super simple. We're going to use our Angelus leather prepare and deglazer to prep our surface, apply multiple coats of our color, and seal the paint in with the finisher. Last but not least, let's go over how to paint leather. As always, you're going to want to prep your surface with deglazer first. Since our surface is dark and we want to paint a lighter color, we're going to go over it with a coat of white first. This will allow our lighter color to show more vividly with a fewer amount of coats. Apply multiple layers until the shoe is fully pigmented. Once you're done with that, seal the paint in with a finisher. Now that you guys are familiar with painting different materials, let's get into what not to do with Angelus paints. The first extremely important thing is not prepping your surface. This will create a weak bond with the paint and the surface that you're painting on. In order to have a durable product, you're going to want to prep every time. One thing you want to avoid doing is globbing paint onto your shoe. This will create a clumpy, uneven surface. Apply a small amount and spread evenly for a smooth result. Like I said before, painting the rubber portions and soles of a shoe is extremely tempting. However, if you do this, the paint won't stick properly to the surface. The bond will be so weak that the paint can scratch off within the first step. The next thing is not taping important areas of the shoe before painting. Now this is completely up to you, and tape isn't necessary for some, but if you're a beginner or feel like you have a shaky hand, it's important to tape off areas to avoid any spilling. Sometimes the brush may flick speckles onto unwanted areas and require extra work to remove them. Lastly, when adding Angelus Duller to your paint for the matte look, make sure you don't add too much. This will create a chalky surface that is also very fragile. Add a small amount for a clean finish. Angelus paints are extremely versatile and can be used in many forms. The paint is super flexible and can be used on a ton of materials from purses, hats, watches, shoelaces, backpacks, and more. So let me ask you guys this. What project are you going to use your Angelus paint on? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.